Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host. Yeah. It's got like the Freddie Mercury microphone thing going on. What does he sing? I work hard every day of my life. My bones. Welcome back to Chelsea News. Of course, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion, mate, for whatever that's worth. More importantly, asking for yours there. Today we're discussing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at the airport, seemingly about to complete his move to the mighty Chelsea, SW6, Stamford Bridge, Tommy Tuchel's army, etc, etc. I'm also wanting to cite an article from the Mail talking about why we want Anthony Gordon, because big respect to a young talent, a little bit confusing. Are we stuck with Marcus Alonso? What the ruddy hell is happening? Thank you for joining me. Please do drop a like on the video. It means a lot. Shows the support of the content. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, you're welcome to subscribe should you choose to do so. Hit the sweet, sweet bell. And let's get into it. Alright, I do want to jump straight into this Anthony Gordon situation. I'm going to cite halfway through-ish an article by Dominic King of the Mail to see what the deal is, because £60 million for this young Scouser who looks high-octane, energetic. What's happening? You know, many people are talking about we're letting Callum Hudson-Odoi go on a loan probably to Bayer Leverkusen. Spoke about that in the previous video. We'll, of course, continue to speak about it as the story develops. You know, Callum's... I know he's not scored that many goals, but in the Premier League, but he can score goals. He's creative. He's a proper winger, whereas Anthony Gordon, you know, hasn't got that much production. Granted, he's been playing for a side battling relegation in Everton, and he played for Rafa Benitez, and who wasn't very expansive. So, you know, tricky. I'm going to pick up here. If you have asked yourself in recent days why Chelsea are prepared to finance a £60 million deal for Gordon, it all traces back to then. So a game when Tuchel watched Everton beat Chelsea 1-0. Tuchel was taken by Gordon's fearless attitude, his speed, and the persistence that went with his talent, and he saw a player with whom he felt he could work. I guess kind of like how he saw what he saw in Mason Mount on the training pitch. He left Mason Mount out that first game against Wolves and then saw what he was all about, this tenacious, hard work, this never die attitude, and he thought, I fancy a bit of that. And I'm guessing Anthony Gordon represents the same thing. Granted, though, they don't boast like, you know, well, Mount's traditionally sort of number 8, isn't he? I suppose Gordon's a wide forward. Even though Mount scores goals and assists, it just doesn't feel like it's going to demonstrate the output. Tuchel had already made note of of Gordon when, in a game at Stamford Bridge last December, he came up with an assist that enabled Everton to pilfer a last-gasp point against the odds, but in the return fixture he was decisive. It is now Chelsea that is backing their manager's judgment, and the clubs are discussing a way, in all likelihood, to see Gordon follow another Everton Academy product, Ross Barkley, to Stamford Bridge. This situation is advancing all the time, and Gordon wants to go to London. Anthony Gordon wants Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel really wants Anthony Gordon. Chelsea are not the first team to inquire about Gordon this summer. Tottenham would have taken him in a joint deal that included Richarlison, but Everton had no interest, as the respective valuations were nowhere near matching. Other Premier League clubs have looked at him too, but even still, how things have escalated with Chelsea, and the figures have now been put into the public domain, it has come as a big surprise. Well, yes! You watched my last video, I'd made a weird, peculiar noise when I was just reacting to the... I mean, what is football valuation anymore? I don't know. Senior figures inside Goodison Park have maintained all along that they don't want to sell. And they stress there's been no change in the situation, but the economics mount a powerful counter-argument. Gordon first joined Everton when he's 11. He's a wiry, quick and skillful. There was a point 4 years ago when Borussia Dortmund, who were scouting England's system. Yeah, there was German football when we won that Under-17s World Cup or something. I think it was around then. Suddenly German football, they wanted all the English youngsters, like, you know, Sancho Dortmund, Bayern Munich, for Callum Hudson-Odoi. You know, Musiala's over there now. There's loads of young English talents there. Well, Musiala's part German, but you know what I mean. They're all over the gaff. So they've been monitoring him. and they wanted to take Gordon to Germany, it would be disingenuous to paint a picture that Gordon's progress through the ranks generated the same crackle as past academy alumni such as Wayne Rooney and Barkley. It didn't. But a number of judges felt there was something there to be nurtured. Chief among them was Carlo Ancelotti, who was alerted to Gordon shortly after he'd been appointed Everton manager in December 2019 and handed him his Premier League debut as a substitute. Look, so this goes on. Basically, he's a very, very hard-working guy that is being recognised by elite teams. It's not just Chelsea. Tottenham want him as well, but they probably don't want to pay whatever the over-the-odds thing we're going to pay for it. Ultimately, I can get excited about this signing. I know many of you will put some good counter-arguments on it, why we shouldn't be spending that much of our transfer transfer budget on this player, and I'm with you, but at the same time, if the gaffer has got a long-term plan here and he says this kid's good, and he's not completely left field, like loads of teams think he's good. So again, like I said before previously, I defer to the club's superior football knowledge and plan to mine, and if he comes, let's just back the kid and see what happens. Right, it's a quick word on Hakim Ziyech, who's been going to... he's been in Amsterdam trying to negotiate his return from Chelsea. Like Werner, popped down to Chelsea for a couple of years, won a Super Cup, Cup Cup, and a Champions League. Not bad, but didn't go the way he wanted in terms of influence, game time, productivity, etc. Now, Ziyech... his return as the Wizard of Amsterdam, coming back to Amsterdam, he would represent an Antony replacement, of course, the winger going to Manchester United. And you want to talk about overpaying, you want to talk about overvaluation, you want to talk about overpricing. Look no further than Antony to Manchester United for like 100 million euros. It's just mind-blowing. I read somewhere on social media that he's yet to score as many goals in the Eredivisie as 19-year-old loanee Mason Mount did at Vitesse. Mount was a midfielder. He's like a forward winger. Absolutely chicken oriental. Anyway, I digress. Apparently there's a problem with the Hakim Ziyech sale. Chelsea want a loan with an obligation to buy. Ajax aren't sure about that. Chelsea probably just want to flog him. Probably for... I don't know. I mean, it's Hakim Ziyech. He could be so good. And they could buy him for like under £20 million. You know... like, they sold him to us for 35. They'll probably be thinking, wow, he'll only have a couple of years left on his deal or something. And, he's pushing 30. So, but they'll get a great deal for him. If they buy Hakim's... but they're getting freaking 100 million euros for Antony. And they've sold someone else, I forget. They're making peas. Give us freaking £20 million for Ziyech. And be happy. You get a great deal. He'll probably score and assist more than Antony. And you've just made 100 million for Antony. What's the problem? Shut up. Alright, Ziyech done. We might be lumbered with Alonso, pain. Jacobs Ben has said, apparently, I don't know, he hasn't tweeted this, but he said this somewhere. Barcelona have cooled their interest in Marcus Alonso. I'm reading this as a tweet from Chelsea Transfer, as per Ben Jacobs. He does not think a transfer will happen this summer. Right, so this could only mean one thing. Granted, Emerson's sold. Good luck to him at West Ham. Great, best of luck to him. We've got Chilwell and Cucurella. They're the first choice left wing backs. It's time. We haven't got any centre forwards. He's got 1 year left on his deal. For the final 12 months of his contract, please deliver the experiment that not just Chelsea fans, all football fans would like to see. Stick Marcus Alonso up front. Let him win some headers, whip in some goals with that left boot of his, lethal. And watch him score 25 Premier League goals. I'm only half joking, but what the hell are we going to do with Marcus Alonso? Jesus Christ. When's it going to end, Robbie? Anyway, I wanted to drop that one in. We'll see what happens with him. Of course, in terms of outgoings, like we said, the aforementioned Ziyech to join Werner, Lukaku, Hudson-Odoi to Leverkusen. That's 4. We'll see what happens. We need to get another attacker in, and if it's not Marcus Alonso as striker, it's gonna be Aubameyang Bloodclot Yang. Gerard Romero, the guy who got banned on Twitch yesterday, but seemingly back, I think, for showing the Barcelona friendly clips against Man City. Of course, Aubameyang scored a nice goal, and it looked like it was a goodbye game. I've been here for 6 months, and now I'm leaving. Goodbye. Yeah, well, how dumb have you got to be? Of course you're going to get copy strikes for showing football footage, you know? I mean, I know that as a content creator, but dude's Twitch streamer, you can't be doing that. You silly sausage, eh? You got a big platform as well. What are you doing, mate? Anyway, apparently, he says Aubameyang is currently at the airport. He might be on a plane right now. He might have landed right now by the time you watch this. He might have finished negotiating behind the scenes his deal with Chelsea. But by all accounts, he's completing his deal with Chelsea today. Aubameyang. Not this Yang. So I am feeling all right about this. And I tell you why. The longer we go on in this season without scoring goals, without the forward scoring goals, the more I think, yes, just bring Aubameyang in. I do think Sterling's wasted, or not wasted, but he's not optimised playing in that middle role. Seeing him hold the ball up in the 6-yard box or in the 18-yard box is making me feel like, oh, it's Hazard all over again when he played a false 9 and it wasn't working when we played it wrong with him. So push him back out left. Havertz, I'm not saying, I guess you drop Havertz, don't you? Or like you could drop Mount or put Mount in the midfield and change formation. I mean, we have got 5 subs now, so they'll all probably get game time regardless. But if Aubameyang signs for Chelsea, which seems like it's the case imminently, possibly today, he starts. He's not coming to Chelsea to not start. He's back with Daddy Tuchel. Tuchel made that joke reportedly about Lukaku with Daddy Antonio Conte. Well, you want to make that joke, Daddy Lampard for Mount. You're daddy to Aubameyang, by all accounts. The way you've waxed lyrical about your special relationship. And, great. That's what we want. You got to make it work, big man. And that's what we'd expect. We'd expect Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to start, should he sign for Chelsea. Of course, Raheem Sterling is going to start. So that third and final slot up front will be occupied by one of either Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. And for the moment, considering general contributions in the Premier League and work rate, that's harsh actually, because Mount is known for working hard, but Havertz does work hard as well. He's got this kind of like, I don't know, like he's got the touch of the Mesut Ozils where no one thought Mesut Ozil worked hard, but he actually had really good running stats. I think there's a little bit of that with Kai Havertz as well. He does make loads of runs. Tuchel is generally happy with him by all accounts, but we need goals. And Mount scores more goals in the league than Havertz, just the way it is. Despite him, historically being a deeper, more midfield player. Look, they'll both play, but you'd think at the moment, it would be Mount that starts in these like tactical battles, and you'd be looking to Sterling and you'd be looking to Aubameyang to convert chances and score goals. I mean, Sterling's consistently scored goals over the years, but I think Aubameyang's won at least one golden boot, maybe shared a golden boot as well with Salah or something. He can score a lot of goals in the Prem. So you got to start those two, and then you supplement it with Mason Mount. What do you think, boys and girls? I'm really looking forward to getting the feedback from you guys. Comment down below. What do you think about Gordon? And then, in the style of Francis Bourgeois. Thank you, Gordon. That will be surfacing should he sign for Chelsea. Gordon, Ziyech return, the exits, Kai Havertz, Mason Mount. What do you think? Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? Is he the solution? What's happening? Comment down below. I want to see the conversations. Do consider dropping a like. It helps me out. And it's a click of a button. So thank you for doing that. If we can get over 3,000, that would be nice. #target. Subscribe if you're new. I'm out. Peace.